Alright, preppers and procrastinators, what do I have in the case? It's something you've seen before, but I'm actually a little embarrassed to really show it to you. I promise you won't judge me too badly. This is my Savage 110 Elite Precision Rifle in 6.5 Creedmoor. This is a $2,000 rifle with a $550 scope on top that I just have laying around in a case. The case comes with a standard cutout foam piece, but they're just such a pain in the butt to cut out. And I didn't know if this was the final case that I was going to use for this rifle, but I can't just keep toting a $2,000 rifle around in an empty shell of a case. So this case is a Vault 800. Vault is made by Pelican, but not quite as expensive as a Pelican case. This one that's 51 inches goes for about $200. We're going to go ahead and customize this case with a Magpul DAKA grid organizer system. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and remove the rifle, and we'll start to work on the case layout. So in the box comes 2 end pieces, 3 center pieces, and the adjustable blocks. Is a replacement for the bottom foam. And right here in front of the instructions, it says to remove the original bottom piece of foam and replace with the new insert. So keep lid foam, remove all base foam, unfold the foam that was included with the DAKA grid organizer, and insert base. After installing the supplied foam, the grid base, and the blocks, we recommend closing the lid and allowing the system to settle for 24 hours without any equipment inside. Well, that's probably not going to happen tonight. Step 2 is base panel installation. Identify the end panels. Those are the larger outsides. Number of center panels will vary depending on the case size. This is for a V800, so I'm assuming we'll use all 3 pieces. However, it could be used in smaller cases as well. Starting with the end panel against the edge of the case, from left to right, arrange center panels next, aligning interlocking teeth of each panel together. There you go. I get a little bit of a Michael Jordan tongue, or I stick my tongue out while I work. All right, this end panel is extremely tight. It says to take the end panel, get it down in the corners, lift the next panel up, create a tent, and then push it down together. I think it's possible they don't quite fit. No, stop it. Yeah, so it's a bit tight. Okay, so here it says to recommended arrangement, brace heavy objects against the case walls. And it shows you in the instructions doing that by putting blocks in front of or behind. So we will brace behind the buttstock. And one right in front of the muzzle brake. Actually, I think we'll move that down one. that's in there. That's in a good spot. We'll get one right there, and we'll get one right here in front of the muzzle. Okay, so that's in there extremely tight and should not go anywhere. Get in there, get in there. So now that I have the rifle in there and braced, I now have 3 large Legos and 6 little Legos. And now we can build out accessory areas for magazines, the bolt, things like that. So free float optics. For rifles with scopes and optics, arrange blocks to allow space between the optic and the blocks. Do not allow the optics to rest against case walls. Okay, so that would be the case wall. That's not resting, but it is touching this rear block. And I actually want to get the sunshade on the optic before I line up all the blocks. There we go. So now I'm going to move this over to here. Now I wonder, can I take this out? Yes. Can I get it back in? So that one's going to be a problem. Put this one down here. That rests on there, but that eye relief is out too far. Okay, so I think that that is a quality holding position. Oops, except for that. So we'll have to snug the barrel in every time. Fitment against equipment will not always be exact. In this case, like right here, we're not exact. Once lid of case is closed, top foam will compress grid and secure stowed items. Always place blocks between smaller and larger items. In other words, don't let your magazines float around free and whack into everything. So this is nice for just holding the rifle, but I'm going to experiment a little and see if I can figure out some accessories. So I'm going to try to figure out how to fit a couple of magazines nice and secure along with the bolt. Honestly, that should do it for the magazines. That should do it for the bolt. We can store in a box of ammo. That could work. Oh boy. Something's not quite right here. So as I try to close the lid, the scope knob is extruding far too high in the case. So I think we're going to have to cut out one little rung to get the scope to sit flat. Okay, so that's down far enough that it's resting on the rings. So that's as far down as that's going to go. Okay. The top foam is 2 pieces. So I'm going to cut the ring out of the top foam, and then we still have about 3/4 of an inch of foam above that. So I'm making a good impression in the foam of where the scope knob is, and that should give me a nice area to cut out. Okay, so that fits in there a lot better. Now the problem is, so now our case is not lining up correctly. So the grid system is too snug this way, pushing out on the case. I'm just going to try to get it shut one time and then leave it there, and hopefully it will condense the material inside. Alright, well I was able to snug the case together and get all the clamps secured. And nothing's moving around in there. So minus a couple of fitment issues, and we'll see if that settles itself down tonight. Everything fits well. It's a much more secure setup for a rifle, and it probably wasn't as easy as cutting out the foam would have been. But now I can change and add things later as well. When you cut out foam, if you change your scope or if you move your scope at all or anything, then your cutouts don't quite line up anymore, and now you just have excess cutout. So this will hopefully be a nicer system. Well, that's all I have for you for today. Thank you all for watching. If you're looking to set up a rifle case, hopefully this was an informative video for you today about the Magpul grid organizer system for vault cases. Procrastinating Prepper out. I'll see y'all in the next video.